Welcome back to the channel, Classic Volkswagen Lovers Junior with Classic VW Buck and Sunny the Super. What we have today, I have my disc brake conversion kit, and I'm about to install my racers and pack my bearings and do some prep work for my future installation of the rotors into the front of the car. So for the job, I'm going to be using a handy packer. Pretty nice tool to have. You don't need one to pack your bearings, but if you have one, it makes your life easier. I'm going to be using high temp disc brake wheel bearing grease. Using a bearing racer seal driver kit that I purchased online from ABN, Auto Body Now. Pretty nice kit. It comes in a pretty nice box, plastic box, and they are made out of aluminum. Pretty lightweight. Complete set. So what we're going to do is we're going to tackle the outer bearing racer first, and then we'll do the inner one. So to install that racer, you want to make sure that you grab your bearing. Make sure the racer is in the right position. Remember that bearings are made with a concave shape. So what you want to do is, from your driver set, you want to grab one of these little driver discs and find out how it fits into your racer. So if I take this one here, you can see that it almost begins to fit and it almost goes in, but it does not move in freely, and that will be a problem. If I use this one in this manner, I risk to damage that surface inside the racer. But if I flip it the other way around, it's a perfect match to the outside diameter of the racer. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to take that driver and measure it over your opening in your outer opening of your disc. And if you can see here, this actually goes in pretty easy. So what you want to do, again, double check that the racer is in the right position. Just set it on top like that. And then you grab your handle, put your driver over. Do that. So then you take your handy dandy wrench and you set it on top of your racer. I get it started with my rubber hammer, and then once I get it started, I grab my driver and I give it a good wham. Once it reaches all the way to the bottom, you'll hear a difference in sound when you're hitting it with the hammer. It's almost like the sounds change to a peak sound. You hear that? That was a more solid pitch the last time I hit it. That's in. So we got that in. We double check it, make sure that everything, it's nice and it's neat. Okay, let's see if we can get you to see how that fits in there. If you look very close in there, you can see the bottom edge of the racer right around in there. That's how you know that it's sitting in properly. Flip the disc, and now we proceed to install our second one. So we grab our second bearing here. I'm going to use this little sharp knife. sit that for the time being there. Put these back in here. Now we do the same exercise. We find the best driver that fits here. We can see that that one goes in very easily. So I know this one will be a perfect fit, and also not only that, it actually fits over my eraser. It's got a little bit of a play, which it won't hurt because it won't damage the inner surface or concave surface of my eraser bearing. So we're ready to install this one here. We take this driver out. And this one we're going to use with the narrower shape to the bottom. Double check that your concave shape is in the right position. We got that there. And now we take our driver, set it on top. That's already in. Perfect. So the racers are installed. Next we're going to be packing the bearings with the handy packer. I'll take the dust cover off. Unscrew the handle and set it aside for the time being. The bottom of the handy packer is filled with high temp grease. You want to grab your bearing and you want to sit it over with the concave shape going in. Then once in place, you take your handle, you set it on top. There's no need for you to screw this. Just put your hand over like this and press firmly. You got to keep on pressing until you see grease coming out of the side of the shells within the bearing. So I'm going to give you a closer look here. You can see the grease showing through the crevices around the bearing, which is a good indication. Which is a sign that the bearing is getting properly packed. That's pretty good right there. Then you can grab your bearing and just go over with your finger like that and make sure that the outer shell is also covered in grease. And now what we have to do is install it into the rotor. And then you do the same step for the bigger bearing. It works the same way. I'm going to grab my rotor here. I'm going to apply a small amount of grease from this handle around the border. Here's the bearing. And that should be just fine, just like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some painter's tape and use this plastic that was housing the bearing and put some tape over it. At least I have peace of mind that nothing is going to contaminate that one. I'll flip it around and I'll do the same for the other one. Then I'll sit this on top one more time. And now I compress. Yep, that's good. So we set this aside here, and you can see how it all gets looped inside. Just leave it there for 1 minute. Bring this rotor over here, and we just get it in. So now we have installed the bearing. So the last step is to install the seal. You find the driver disc that best fits the outer surface of your seal. You measure it against. As you can see, this one here, it's a perfect match, and you place it over, and then you grab your hammer and you slightly tap, and this does not really require a lot of effort to drive it in. You always want to make sure you check it around, make sure it's all the way down. Double check it, and that's it. We are ready now to install this rotor into the spindle. So for the next one, you basically repeat the same process. Do whichever side you prefer. I always do that side first, and then I do this side. And I put the seal back in there, and I personally like to cover it until the day that I'm about to install them. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one, and once I'm done with both of them, then I'll proceed to install them in the spindles. But for the time being, wait up for another video that's going to be coming for the installation of the rotors into the spindle. I hope that the video somehow helps you out in understanding the best possible way to install your racers without damaging. To my new subscribers, thank you for your support. To my current followers, again, thank you so much for your constant support. If this is the first time you watching my channel, don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and give it a thumbs up. This is it for now. Stay put and wait for the other video, installation of the rotors in the spindles. Until then, this is Junior with Classic VW Buck and Sonny the Super Beetle.